Hello, Janice. Welcome back.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi. How are
Well,
you?
I'm doing well. And I'm kind of excited to talk about technique number 13 today. I'm going to use my notes because this piece is very action oriented.
Okay.
And I want to make sure that we get the recipe right.
Okay. Kind of like last one was kind of the action steps. These next few ones are more action steps. Okay.
Right. So the last one was setting intention to water. This one is setting intentions to statements.
Okay.
So he talks about statements that are affirmations and that you can use to govern how you intend on living your life. So this is statements that are in line with what you want your life to be or become.
Okay.
You write them in first person and it's present tense.
Okay.
So,
which means what?
Which means what? Well, that's what I'm getting to.
Okay.
So the subject should always be you.
Okay. I.
So I am.
Okay.
Or I will, or no, not will. I am, or like I have.
Okay.
So it all has to be present tense.
Okay.
And it has to include you and not other people because you can't control other people.
What a novel concept.
What a novel concept. Okay, present tense is used to reinforce the fact that what you want in your life is real. Okay. And that you have full faith that it will come to fruition.
Okay.
So there's a little piece in there that I think it would be easy to skip over. Mm-hmm. But I want to make sure that we cover the full faith piece. And I'm not talking about religious faith. I'm talking about if I say I'm a millionaire.
Okay.
I mean, because that's when people think about manifesting, they think about money,
right,
or things.
Right.
So if I'm going to set an intention with a statement, then the affirmation is that I being the subject am present tense a millionaire.
This, yeah. I am this.
I am this.
I am this.
I'm not 10 feet tall and bulletproof, but I'm a millionaire. Okay. Because you have to have full faith that the universe will give it to you.
Okay.
And if you lack self-confidence, then you have to adjust the intention to fit your level of full faithfulness or faithfulness. Does that make sense?
I understand the words. What does that actually mean?
Well, it means that if you set an intention that I am a millionaire and I don't believe that I can be a millionaire, or is highly unlikely that I'm going to be a millionaire, then you're setting up diametrically opposed energies, and it blocks the universe being able to give it to you.
Right.
So I have to fully believe that it is possible that I can be a millionaire. Now, I don't have to have it figured out how I'm going to be a millionaire.
Right.
I just need to believe that it is possible.
Right.
So let's go back to the low confidence or the self-confidence. It says that you are supposed to adjust the statements to something like, I am willing. That's one. Or my intention is to be a millionaire.
Okay.
Any? Is that as clear as mud?
I think that I am willing, because willing would be a future.
Yeah, but that's what he says. That's not mine.
Right.
Mhm.
I'm more inclined to go with the my intention is, because it's present moment.
Mhm. Well, I won, yeah, because it's still, yeah, to me, it needs to be present. He talks about present tense, and I am willing means becoming,
Well, and I
or I
think
am willing to do the work to become a millionaire or to be a millionaire.
okay, all right. And I think the reason that's important is because, again, our subconscious mind is present moment only.
Mhm.
Ignores past and it ignores future. And the only time our mind remembers the past is when we bring it up.
Yeah,
And it's the emotions of the experiences that we keep replaying.
right.
And so that's why the present is so important.
Yep. Because it detaches,
Right.
which it was another one of the techniques,
Right.
it detaches you from anything but the present moment.
Right.
So it's less blocking.
Right.
Okay. So avoid using words try, but, or.
Sure.
Statements need to be as specific as possible, not pacific, but specific,
Okay.
in order to know what the goal of the intention is.
Okay.
So we talk about in other arenas, maybe in your job for a company, they talk about SMART goals.
Right.
What is it? Specific, attainable, measurable, reasonable, and timely. How do you like that? I remembered that. So because you want to measure it, you were talking in the last technique in the last episode is that 0 to 10 scale,
Sure.
that if you set the intention and right now it's 10, whatever your emotion is, and you want it to be less than in 30 days or whatever, if it's down to 3, that's the way you can tell whether you've made any progress or not. Just like we do with the scale. I'm going to go back to weight and biscuits and gravy in a minute. I'm sure I can work that in there somewhere. Well, we measure weight by a scale. And a lot of us live by the scale. I don't happen to own one, and we won't go down that road.
I was like, and
So
we're not doing any subliminal messages, biscuits and gravy going behind the scenes.
you can tell I'm hungry. Okay. Statements need to be specific as possible. So I am a millionaire is specific and measurable.
True.
Okay. Goal-based.
Okay.
He uses if it's not a thing or something that is quantifiable like that by a number, you will use a goal-based statement.
Okay.
So I am in a healthy and loving relationship.
Okay.
So that you can cover both sides of what your intention might be. And then the last part, which a lot of us have a lot of struggle with, is that we should monitor our self-talk. So paying attention to the negativity that goes through our head that maybe doesn't always come out of our mouth,
right,
but those things like I'm an idiot or I'm stupid or something along that line blocks the flow of energy and sets up, no matter how good your intentions are or how good your statements are, it blocks that because it creates a diametrically opposed situation with energy. That makes sense?
It does. And going back to what we have said a couple of times, that we're always manifesting. When you have those negative statements, you're manifesting evidence to prove those statements correct.
Right.
And we, at the very beginning of these 15 techniques, we talked about there's polar opposites. And just because you focus on one doesn't mean the other go away. You
That's
just
right.
direct your energy to it.
Right. Right. It's like taking all your eggs away from and putting them in this basket. Or let's say you've got weeds in your flower bed.
Mhm.
You need to either pull them up or you don't water them.
Mhm.
And they die. So you pull the energy away from them and put them in the path that is congruent with your intentions.
And I have had clients, I don't know if you've had, that say, well, I can't control what I think.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you can't, who will?
Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
like, we absolutely have the ability to control what we think. And you know this, I was raised by a person who was very negative. And because our brain is a pattern seeking muscle, that's the way I was. And it took me effort to change the way my brain works. And I know it's possible. I know I changed the synaptic connections in my brain because I don't even see things in the negative anymore.
Nope. No, in fact, you catch me if it sounds like if I'm saying something that sounds negative or doesn't sound specific enough,
Mhm.
which I appreciate.
But it's possible. Now, how I did it is I just had to start paying attention, being present with what was going on in my brain.
Mhm.
And it took me a while to be able to do that. And then I couldn't even say positive out of my mouth. I had to think, what would I say
Instead.
instead, and practice that. And then finally was able to start saying it out of my mouth and catching myself
Mm.
before it came out of my mouth.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's possible. You just have to practice it.
Mhm. Also, people say, I can't change the way I feel. Well, and that's a whole nother episode. But you certainly can change the way you feel and the way you think.
Well, and since you bring that up, do we give feelings too much power?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know about you, but it my experience has been that if there's an emotion to it, people believe that it is absolute, whatever the emotion is.
Right. And that's not true. Because
No, an emotion is an emotion.
it's all it is. It's
All it
like
is.
allow yourself to feel it, honor the feeling, but just recognize it's just a feeling, and you're going to feel 1,000 different things in a month, in a day. You're going to feel two different emotions over one thing.
Well, there's how many times have you said, a part of me feels this way and a part of me feels that way?
Correct.
So just because I feel two, does that make them both true?
Right. And you don't make decisions off of feelings.
Well,
Shouldn't make decisions off of your feelings because your feelings change.
your feelings change.
Your feelings change. And yeah, so this is taking power back.
Mhm.
It's taking power.
Well, or giving power where you've always had it and utilizing it.
Yes.
Okay. So the whole point of this is that there is a definite kind of recipe
Mhm.
for setting intentions to statements. And there's a way to help those statements be more easily met
Right.
than and then throwing up blocks. And one of those blocks is negative self-talk.
Okay, so I want to ask a question about the statement piece. And so let's say that right now you don't believe it's possible to be a millionaire, but you believe it's possible to be 100,000aire.
Okay.
Could you use that statement first? And then when that happens, then you can.
Yeah. You don't have to go from Mach 1, 0 to Mach 1.
Okay.
You can take steps along the way. And if you feel more comfortable doing those steps,
Mhm.
then by all means use those steps. Because if I can have full faith that it is possible that I can become a $100,000 heir,
Yeah.
then I start there,
Okay.
because that is growth and it is outside my comfort zone. And growth always occurs outside your comfort zone.
And so maybe that's the statement, is making that statement that's just outside your comfort zone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, whatever your comfort zone is,
Yep.
so that it grows you.
Right.
Yeah.
You in an earlier technique, you talked about learn something new.
Hmm. Yeah.
That would be learning something new is to stay right outside my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if I become comfortable with earning $100,000 a year, then outside of that could be $110,000, or it
Or
could be
500,000.
$500,000.
Right. Right.
Whatever you have faith in that is possible for you to have.
Okay. And so this brings up the idea of your beliefs. Our beliefs are established before the age of 7.
Mhm.
And I think I said this before, is what I find with people is they start living out those beliefs after the age of 7, and they get to adulthood and are still living out these beliefs that were formed while they were a child, and they
Right.
don't ever question the validity of those beliefs.
Right.
Because how many of our beliefs before the age of 7 are valid for who we are today?
Yep. Exactly.
And,
As if you don't grow between
right.
and learn something new between 7 and whatever your age you are now.
So, and you know me, I'm transparent. So my mother had a poverty mentality. She was not poor, but she had a poverty mentality.
Mhm.
And if I had never questioned that, I would be an adult with a poverty mentality.
Mhm.
And if your parents said money doesn't grow on trees, or I can't afford that, or whatever those negative statements are around money, you grow up believing that
Mhm.
and never question, is this valid? That was their belief system. Do you still want to carry their belief system?
Mhm. Or did you stop and look at, you may be making more money than they ever made when they made that statement.
Yeah. I mean, my mom was born in the Great Depression. So of
Mine
course,
too.
yes. Like, bless my grandmother's heart, she washed off aluminum foil and reused it. Bless her heart.
Well,
Because that was the time she was raised in. We don't live there. And this is my own belief, is I believe that we now live in a time where anything is possible. I absolutely believe that anything is possible.
okay.
And then I apply that to my life.
Okay.
But I wasn't raised that way.
No, no, you weren't raised that way. But yes, you do live by that
Mhm.
anything is possible.
And anything is possible. And what would your life look like? And I don't mean you as specifically you, but anyone listening. What would your life look like if you believed anything is possible in my life?
Well, probably a whole lot different.
Mhm.
There wouldn't be as much worry and concern.
Yes. Yep.
Because it's possible for me to. I was talking to a single mother yesterday, not a client.
Okay.
And she was talking about how by the end of the year, she can have all of her debt paid off except for her house. So there's only one income in that house. It's only her. And she's gotten to a point that in the beginning, she wasn't sure that she'd ever be able to live or raise a child to adulthood without being in debt all
Mm.
the time.
Oh, wow.
So she has actually set that intention that I will be, or I am out of debt,
Mhm.
and that she has a date that she wants to achieve that by, but the universe may give her that long before that date,
Sure.
or even maybe after that date, because it's not the date that's the issue, it's
Right.
the achievement of the intention.
And if we go back to the Jim Carrey story, she
Mhm.
set the intention and then she went to work.
Right. She went to work. That's right.
She just didn't sit on the couch and drink sodas and bonbons. She went to work
Right. She went
and
to work.
let the universe figure it out.
Right.
She got in the flow.
She got in the flow. She became detached of micromanaging it.
Right.
I mean, well, let's string all those
Yep.
techniques together. And so she set the intention. Knowing this girl, she probably speaks intention into her water. That's
Okay.
kind of who she is. So I fully have faith with her that she will achieve her intention either by the end of the year or whatever the universe says that,
Right.
so
But look at the difference in her thoughts of I'll never be able to raise a child without debt. And now she is close to being debt free.
yep. The only thing she'll have is her house.
That's awesome. Good for her.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Good for her.
It's possible, folks.
It
It is
possible.
absolutely possible.
Anything is possible.
Anything is
Anything
possible.
is possible.
Mhm.
We now live in an age where anything is possible. Okay. All right. Like and subscribe. And we have a few more techniques to share.
Yep. Come back for the next one. And the next one is
This.
yours.
It is. It's number 14, the assemblage point exercise. So this is an exercise, kind of like you had your steps. This is an exercise, and I will walk us through how to do that.
Okay. All right. See you later.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.